stuck in a trap will chew off its own leg to survive. Come on! The bone's powder, just flesh and uniform keeping me here. Do it! Cut it now! We gotta go. Is he dead? He's not dead, he's just passed out.
Hey everybody, Uber GTO here. I'm going to do the campaign review. First off, if you somehow didn't notice, the game is gorgeous. The only game that comes close to this or near, or pretty much the same, but it depends on your preference, is Crisis 3 or Metro Last Light, probably. Anything else is just doesn't look as good as this. This is beautiful. Add to that, you don't need a crazy video card like a Titan or a, what is that, the newest AMD card right now to actually play it like this at 1080p. This runs beautiful on my 670 stock clock at the moment, and you don't need a monster computer to play this. I have nearly everything at Ultra, and it almost always at least 60 frames per second. And yet, of course, at times it'll drop down to maybe 53 if something really crazy happens for a second. But typically it stays around 60 to 80 plus when it's not much is going on in interior shots. Moving on from there, the audio. The audio is great. YouTube won't do it justice, or this recording in general probably won't do it justice. But some guns sound great. Better than any other guns I've heard in any other game. I love the Rex in general, but the sound of it, it does weird things to me. And other than that, I mean, you can really hear well around you. You can't hear footsteps so much as, say, some of the Call of Duty games. I hate to bring that up, but those are decent about being able to hear footsteps coming up on you. This not as well, but just everything around you, the tone as everything goes into different rooms, or if it's in a metal room or wood, whatever, you can really, it really sounds like it's coming from there. Of course, none of that matters because a tech demo could have really good graphics and, you know, could have really good sound, but, you know, not fun at all to sit there and watch. And this kind of, at times, is pretty scripted, so you almost think you're watching a movie more than playing a game. But it's not nearly as bad as Battlefield 3, at least that's what I think about it. Of course, very few people buy this game for its campaign. You know, everybody's pretty much playing multiplayer, and, you know, probably 80% of all people are going to buy this won't even play the campaign. But they're trying to make you play this one just because some gun unlocks are only in single player, which means to get a few of them, like the Rex or the P90, currently the only way to get those is to play through at least partially the campaign to get them. When in doubt, later on they try to sell them for who knows how much money, a couple bucks for the entire campaign. And some people might think that's worth it because they hate the campaign, but you know what? I really don't mind this. This isn't too bad, really. I've played a lot worse. I almost made it through Battlefield 3's campaign, but it wasn't really necessary, and I think the only reason I did because one day my connection was so bad, it was either do that or just not play anything for that day, and I actually sat down and played it. And it wasn't that good, to be honest. But this, not so bad. Story-wise, it's okay, but it's not really going to surprise you. It tries to be that thing where it's going to shock you because so-and-so happens, or, oh, I wouldn't think that would happen. But it never really is like that. You pretty much can tell most of what's really going to happen. It's like that summer blockbuster that didn't quite get there. It's the one that was supposed to make 300 million, but only made 100, and it cost 120 to make. So not bad, but definitely nothing you would go and buy it just for. It's one of those things where if you're going to play the campaign, you got to be somewhat bored or really want those guns. Or maybe you're just not that multiplayer playing person. And outside of those reasons, the only other thing I would suggest playing the single player for is just to see how beautiful the game engine can be. Because multiplayer looks great, but you don't quite get that same visual quality you do out of the single player for obvious reasons. It's not trying to have 64 different people running around blowing everything up. Just you and apparently Michael Bay directing everything else, because it's Battlefield. Everything explodes or blows apart for the most part. My biggest complaints, though, are the AI. The computer control opponents are fairly stupid. And I mean, they're pretty stupid. Most of the time, either they'll just keep hiding or not wanting to pop out, or you could just run right up on them and they don't do anything. That, and it's not a flawless game. There are glitches. You'll get stuck on things, or just stupid shit will happen. So how would I rate this? Well, I'm only going to do the single player right now, because it's not fair to rate a game like this on its single player and multiplayer combined. I think that's stupid, because a crappy single player shouldn't distract from a great multiplayer. I would give this probably a 7 out of 10. It's good, but not great. Definitely playable, somewhat enjoyable, but I definitely wouldn't buy it just for that. The multiplayer, on the other hand, I'll cover that in a different video. That's brilliant.